Hello, Professor and classmates. In this opportunity, the idea number 2 are going to present the project to improve the production process of refining and mixing in La Española. Next slide, please. Okay, now we are going to present until the point number 4, that is project quality management. Next slide, please. Okay, now I'm going to present about La Española, Chocolates La Española. The principal activity of this company is the manufacturing cocoa and chocolate bar for hot drinks. Its principal factory is in Trujillo La Libertad. Also, La Española is primarily engaged to the production of chocolate bars for hot cocoa drinks. It is more for seasonal beverage in Peru. And the company was founded for Mariano Ferradas Vaquero. Next slide, please. In this slide, you can appreciate more about the main product of this company. It is the chocolate bars for hot drinks. Next slide, please. Now I am going to talk about the strategic analysis of the company. First of all, we have the mission. It is produce and sell high-quality chocolate products with a higher cocoa content, crafted in an artisanal and efficient manner, promoting tradition and sustainable development. Also, the vision that is to become a widely recognized company in the field of chocolate making, standing out for excellence in producing high-quality products with exceptional cocoa content. The goal of this company is to fully supply the domestic market and continuously seek to enhance the customer satisfaction. These principal competitors are Incasur, Machu Picchu Foods Company, and Compañía Nacional de Chocolates. Next slide, please. Now we have the organization chart. First of all, it is managed for the general management. Then we can appreciate another important areas like administration department, production department, sales department, and another sub areas like finance area, sales area, logistic area, and development area. Next slide, please.
The what of the project is divided into 4 elements. First, there are the strengths. The main ones based on the company worker are flexible in the face of change and the improvement. Project is shorter. The main weakness are the deficiency in the elaboration process of chocolate bars, the lack of personal training, and the high prices in the acquisition of machinery. On the other hand, the project SWOT present opportunities that should be take advantage of, such as the growing trend in the chocolate market, and that there are now resources to carry out the project, such as time and money. Finally, it presents threats such as the possibility of inflation in the country, political instability, and excessive regulation in the chocolate market. Next slide, please. The following are the internal and external stakeholders that will be part of the project and are classified in the sales model, where employees, customer, and competitor have power, but no legitimacy or urgency. Distributor and weather and electricity companies are classified even as urgent because they have neither power nor legitimacy with the project. The financial area was considered a stakeholder that has power and legitimacy with the project. Finally, raw material and machinery suppliers are dangerous stakeholder because they are dependent on the to carry out the project. Next slide. Here you can see the project canvas, which is an overview of the project. Was proposed is to add current three models, machines, and improve the packaging process of the company La Española. The scope is the increase of the chocolate production and the training of the staff. The project will have a success criteria. These are the amount the machineries implement to improve the process, and the less 15 of the process must be improvement with the new machineries. The milestone of the project will be to detailed information about the activities, to time of the process, and the evaluation of the performance of the process. On the other hand, the action to be carried out will be to investigate potential partner, coordinate with the workers, analyze the current situation of the process, implement improvement. The final result will be to reduction of time and cost in the chocolate elaboration process. Finally, the project canvas also allows the visualize the team, stakeholder, user, resource, constraint, and risk. Though the project may be present during to execution, so as employees with the resistance to change the legislation applicable to chocolate companies. Next slide, please.
So I'm going to talk about the analysis of processes and current situation. Okay, first, it is the process map of La Española. We have the strategic processes, key processes, and support processes. In key processes, there are the process as order, sales, reserving orders, distribution, and production, and finally, the product sent to the customers. No? Next slide, please. And here we have the main process, is the production of the chocolate bar. In this process, we have two principal processes: the preparation of powdered sugar and the preparation of cocoa paste. These two ingredients and mixing together, and they continue to the production processes of that chocolate bar. Next slide, please. Okay, and to analyze these processes, we perform the DAP of these processes and to analyze the processes. And first, the analysis of preparation of powdered sugar. We decide to combine the process number 4, the activity number 4 and 5, light and spray and manual feeding, and into the activity pulverize and fill it with sugar in buckets. And in addition, we consider to acquire a new machine, and it is a transport car, and to reduce the transport time. Next slide, please. Next, in production process of chocolate bar, we decide to combine the activity number 7 and 8, arrange molds and mold in one activity. As the same with activity 11 and activity 12 into activity called refrigeration. Next slide, please.
So in this process and production processes, we find the problems as downtime in the mixing process, high production and production time per box, and lack of step training. So we propose to acquisition of two machines, the mixing machine and roasting machine, to increase the production of chocolates in less time. And in addition, we consider when carrying out this combination of activities, and there will be one worker left over. So we consider this worker will be sent to the packaging area, because the packaging area is a process is a manual process, so they need more workers. So we decide to send a worker to packaging process. The next slide, please.
Okay, the project charter is the fundamental document in the project management. This document is created at the beginning of the project and provides a clear and consistent description of the project, such as purpose, scope, the objectives, the key participants, the preliminary schedule, and the other essential details. In this case, it's La Española, and then project name is the acquisition of the additional mixture to increase capacity, and they incorporate operator to the packing area. The project description is the objective of this project is to increase capacity by adding machinery and I incorporate workers. Currently, chocolate has a lot of strength and do not come out with the appropriate characteristic, and that's a good chocolate. It was identified that there is no correct quality control in the mixing process that are carried out manually. So is why the two additional machinery in order to automate the process. After that, we want to try the staff, so they have knowledge of handling of this new material in the future management. The execution is from September 2023 to June 2024. The project production, the definition of the project requirements is to carry out the project. We need the training staff, training schedule, the budget, the project community, and the project objectives and the concept. For example, in the scope, the objective is conducting the training for the production staff, achieve increase the productivity after training. And the success criteria is continuous monitoring of the process activity. In the time is conclude the project in June 2024, and the successful criteria is conclude the project in 9 months. In the cost, the principal successful criteria is don't set the project budget. And in the organization of the group involving the project and reports to the project team member 2, and supervises with the professor. Okay, next slide, please. In this, the main risk of the project is the high initial investment cost. The cost is of implement automatization technology can be high, including the cost of equipment, software, and training. And the second main risk is the technical limitation. Automatization technology may not be sustainable for and the mixed process. And the main opportunity of the project is financial rentability before the bank. The schedule and the budget part will explain in more details later by my classmates. And next slide, please. Okay, is the work breakdown structure. The work breakdown structure is a fundamental tools in the project management. It serves to break down the project into smaller, more short components and making it easier to plan, execute, monitor, and control works. In this case, Española, for example, in the first part is the identification of the objectives and the scope. Component definition, the project objective, project scope, and the identification of stakeholders. The project planning component currently situation analysis, establish goals and the social metrics, the budget and resources, and the project schedule. In the part evaluation of the mixing and the process and the packing area component in the identification of weak points, propose improve the mixing process, identification of the weak points in the packing area, propose improve for the packing area. In the project execution, components in the acquisition the new machinery to automatize the mixing process, staff training, añadir an operator to the packing area, and the implementation and the change. The monitoring of control component, the monitoring and control, quality control, risk management, and communication with the stakeholders, distribution, and the problem solution. And finally, the project close component finally project evaluation, the documenter of the results, the delivery of final reports, and the project approval. Next slide, please.
So now we are going to present the project scope. The project scope statement, which is a critical document that outlines the project's objectives, deliverables, boundaries, and constraints. And the primary purpose of this document is to define and communicate the scope of the project itself. So as we can see, the project name is improving the production process in the company Chocolatería Española. The project manager is team number 2, which is us. As project objectives, we have 1, the scope, and 2, in the quality. First, in the scope, we have a car machinery for the production process and add an operator to the packaging area in Española. We also have a conduct training for production staff and achieve increased productivity after the training. In the quality, we have improved the quality control in packaging process in Española. We also have the scope. In this part, we have how should the product be and how are we going to build the product. In the product scope, we have that the product should have fewer errors and better quality. Also, the new machinery purchase must be of the best quality at a fair price and must be implemented correctly. And also, operators must be properly directed and trained. And well, how are we going to build the product? Well, the project should be developed as planned and will be supervised by the project manager. And also to ensure a correct implementation of the improvements, the indicators should be used. And also the human resources area should be linked to carry out the training and new staff arrangements. And in this part, we have the phases of the project. We have 6 phases: the initial phase, the planning phase, the evaluation of the processes, execution phase, the monitoring and control phase, and the closing phase. This is what my teammates have talked about earlier. And we also have the project the project constraints. So, for example, in this project, it will not accomplish or include hiring new workers. Also, we have the project assumptions that the employees will be committed to the process improvement. Also, the acquisition of modern machinery will increase the productivity of this company. And the relocation of production workers to packaging process will reduce the process delays. And the reworking production process also will be reduced with all these improvements. In project constraints, we have the budget constraints, which is that the cost should not exceed the project budget. Also, we have the quality constraints, which is that the quality of the chocolate bars must be warranted at all times, so implementation. And we also have the constraint of equipment or personal constraints, that all the production staff must be trained to handle the modern machinery, and the new packaging worker also must be trained. And we also finally have the regulatory constraints, which is that health standards imposed by DIGESA, which is a technical normative institution of the Ministry of Health in Peru, in aspects related to sanitation, must be met. And well, in this slide, we have the initial schedule of the project, which is a preliminary plan that describes the sequence of activities and tasks necessary to complete the project. The primary purpose of this initial project schedule is to provide us a general sense of the project scope, timeline, and the resource requirements. This schedule helps stakeholders, including project sponsors, the team members, and other relevant parties to understand the overall project. In this case, we have that the project will be executed during a scheduled time of 9 months, based on the duration of the activities required for the full implementation.
Okay, now I'm going to talk about the initial project budget. Here we're considering 5 stages. The principal is the initial phase. Here we're talking about the project scope. The investment is 3,500. And then we consider like stage 2, the planning phase. Here we considering the project plan management and analysis of the current situation, establishment of goal and metrics, analysis of the budget and resources to be used, and the project schedule. The cost is 11,300. The third stage is the improving the production process. Here we are talking about the evaluation of mixed process and the packaging area, the identification of weak points and proposed improvement to the mixing process, the identification of weak point in the packaging area, and finally the implementation of changes that are required. The investment is 20,700. Then the stage number 4, that is execution phase. Here we're considering the project execution on hiring of qualified personnel, the acquisition of equipment and materials, the procedures updates, the staff training and implementation of changes. In this stage, we are focusing more to buy new materials, for example, a modern toaster machine, the modern mixing machine, and the transport car that are required for these improvements. The investment of this stage is the 57,200. Then the final stage is the monitoring and controlling phase. Here we're considering the monitoring and control of changes, adaptation and operations, the quality control and risk management, the communication with stakeholders and distributors, and finally the problem solving. The investment in this stage is 17,900, and the final stage, the number 6, is the closing phase. This is so important because here we are talking about the project closure and final evaluation, the documentation of results and lessons, the final report deliveries, and the project approval. The investment in this stage is about 20,500. In general, we are talking that in this project we required to invest 130,272 because we are considering to the contingency reserve. For us is the 8% and the management reserve that is 10%. So next slide, please.
In conclusion, the project charter is a crucial component for the initiation and effective planning of the project, providing a solid foundation for this execution and monitoring. The WBS is a crucial tool in project management as it provides an organized and hierarchical structure for planning, executing, and controlling work project, facilitating the overall success of the project. Thank you for attention.